Welcome to Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis with my partner Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. This is a 9-game homestand that begins tonight on FSN, and it begins against a surprising team, Clint Hurdle's Rockies.
They're 10-5 on the road. They're a year older, but they're playing good fundamental baseball and good pitching.
And they get Todd Helton healthy and back in their lineup tonight. It's a day off on Thursday, then Arizona will come to town.
Well, Arizona is battling right with Colorado for the lead in the Western Division. So another veteran ball club that may surprise some people.
A lot of people thought at the beginning of the season the Mets were the team to beat, and they have not disappointed.
Well, they're playing very, very good. They spent a lot of money. It starts with pitching. You got Tom Glavine. You know, you've got Pedro Martinez. They got a lot of weapons this year.
And tonight, though, it is the Colorado Rockies. Welcome to the Helitech Sports Desk and Cardinals baseball here on FSN. Colorado Rockies surprising everybody, no doubt about it. But the Cardinals here at home have played great baseball.
12-4. They do all the little things here. They feel like they've accomplished a lot in their new home in a relatively short time. They hit the ball well here. They score runs. And, of course, when you have Albert Pujols, you know your offensive numbers are going to be good.
You can see the offense together with Pujols at 274 and that record at 12-4. Now, pitching has not been a concern for the Cardinals either. It's considered a strength, but it's when Jason Marquis pitches to his capabilities, and we haven't seen that in his last 3 starts.
Well, Dan, you know, he won his first 3 starts. The last 3 starts he's lost. It looks like he's overthrowing. You know he's trying, but this is one thing that you get real concerned. When you have 4 starters that are all vying or have the potential to be free agents next year, everyone deals with that a little differently, and you hope this is not something that is going to wear him down.
Baseball is just around the corner here on FSN. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about the surging Colorado Rockies. What a surprise they have been so far in the National League at 19-13. We'll preview the Rockies when we come back. Cardinals baseball tonight on FSN. Well, certainly the Rockies have been a huge surprise so far in the National League. They lead the West by a game over Arizona. Colorado with a record of 19-13. Jeff Houston is their game analyst. He had a 12-year Major League career, and tonight he provides a preview for us as we're going to see the Rockies here at Busch Stadium.
The Colorado Rockies are led by number 17, Todd Helton, but a name you might not have heard of is Brad Hopp. Brad's hitting .446 on the road and .358, which is second in the National League. The bullpen is led by veteran Jose Mesa and all-star closer Brian Fuentes and rookie sensation Ramon Ramirez. These Rockies are doing all the things they need to do, playing small ball, timely hitting, and all those things you come to expect of good winning teams. And hey, Cardinals fans, these might not be the Rockies of old. The Rockies in 2006 are 10-5 on the road. Should be an interesting matchup.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Another name that needs to be mentioned is Garrett Atkins, the third baseman. Welcome back to downtown St. Louis. Cardinals baseball here on FSN. Dan McLaughlin, Al Raboski with you as we begin a 9-game homestand for the St. Louis Cardinals. And yes, again, it is sold out here tonight. The Cardinals come in with a record of 20-12 on the season. The Colorado Rockies at 19-13. Colorado a game in front in the west of Arizona. San Diego's 2.5 games back. And in the Central, the Cardinals start a game back of the Cincinnati Reds. Well, some names you're going to hear in this lineup that probably aren't household names, but for the Rockies, young players that have come through their system and finally they're starting to play here at the major league level. Corey Sullivan, the center fielder, will lead things off, followed by Jamie Carroll, the shortstop. Of course, you do know this name, Todd Helton. He's the first baseman, hitting .350 with 2 home runs and 13 driven in despite missing considerable time. Garrett Atkins is the cleanup man and their third baseman, hitting .322. Matt Holliday will play left field and bat 5th. Brad Hopp is hitting .348, 8 home runs, 19 driven in. He's in right. Luis Gonzalez at .222, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. He's the second baseman. Danny Ardois is their catcher, and Jeff Francis is on the mound, and he's a good one for the Colorado Rockies. And Jason Marquis is trying to snap a personal 3-game losing streak. Of course, the Cardinals, Al, have won 3 straight.
Well, you know, he's been struggling in the first inning. That's been probably the big problem, giving up first inning runs, but he is staying very confident in his own mind and said he's going to turn this thing around, and this is a good time to start.
How about the Rockies? What a surprise they have been thus far. They arrive in St. Louis in first place in the National League West for the 25th day already this season, matching their second best season total set back in 1997. So they are awfully pleased with the way that this club has been playing. Their all-time best record came in 1995. They spent more than half of the season in first place. And our first pitch is a strike from Jason Marquis to Corey Sullivan. 68 degrees. Hopefully the rain is going to stay away. We had a slight drizzle just moments ago. This one is popped up to shallow left center field. Gold Glover Jim Edmonds will camp under it for the first out.
Good start for Jason. He'd rather have it on the ground, but you know, Dave Duncan has seen him throw a lot of pitches of late and need to cut down that a little bit.
Here's a shortstop, Jamie Carroll. Clint Barmas, who grew up a Cardinal fan, has got the night off. Normally their everyday shortstop for the Rockies. Carroll is hitting .333, no home runs and 2 RBIs. That pitch is in there for a strike.
They've just been raving about the former National. He's been moving all around. He's even been leading off some of the games, but sparing the infielders, and he's been hitting quite a bit of late.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. And our home plate umpire has to take a look back as Mike Shannon has found his voice being broadcast throughout the stadium. So a little stoppage in play there as Mike now is situated on radio only and in the concourses and not being broadcast throughout the stadium. And there's a base hit for Jamie Carroll. And here is Todd Helton, and everybody knows about how good this guy can be. Todd Helton, one of the best hitters in the game of baseball. He comes in hitting .350. And since he came off the DL, he's hitting .364, a home run, 4 RBIs in 3 games. And he's had very, very good success against Marquis, and it may continue with this drive out to left, but backing up so Taguchi. And he puts it away for out number 2, and Carroll is back to first. And the home plate umpire again looks up as he hears Mike Shannon and his voice being broadcast on the PA here at the ballpark.
Sometimes we know Mike wants to do radio, he wants to manage, he wants to be the PA announcer. You know, Mike can do it all.
Just ask him. Now it's Garrett Atkins, the third baseman. Open stance, and he's put up good numbers. That one just a little low and inside for ball 1. 4 home runs and 19 RBIs. It's not just that they're winning games, Al, but they're winning games away from Coors Field, and they're also hitting outside of Coors Field.
Yeah, that's something that they don't do, and they're a young team led by a guy that young team can kind of, you kind of think about Clint Hurdle, and he can kind of get these young guys, and he can inspire and he can motivate him. He's probably better suited for the younger type players than he is for sort of the veteran team. But right now he's got them believing in themselves, and they're another year more mature.
Here comes a 2-0 pitch by Marquis, and it's in there for a strike. Rockies have played .500 ball in 13 seasons, the old Busch Stadium. And they're 62-58 against the Cardinals during that 13-year span. And Clint Hurdle was saying on the pregame that he really enjoyed the old Busch Stadium and thought that they played some of their best road baseball here in St. Louis for whatever reason. The 2-1 pitch by Marquis misses inside. As much as the Cardinals rely on video, this might be a harder start against a team like the Rockies than maybe a veteran-laden team, because they have more of a book on those guys.
Sure. Atkins got good numbers, but he struggled of late.
3 balls and a strike, and the runner goes, and it's hit foul. Jason Marquis' numbers are brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Record of 3-3, got off to the 3-0 start. ERA has climbed now close to 6, and opponents are hitting .275 against him. A 3-game losing streak coming into play tonight, as he lost his last start at Houston 5-4. Cardinals almost came back and won that game. He lost against Washington in 5 innings at this ballpark, and then lost against Chicago on a Sunday afternoon against Greg Maddux. He went 6 innings in that game. Pitch is way up and in. That's ball 4 to Garrett Atkins. So it's 1st and 2nd here in the 1st inning. Again, in case you don't know some of the names, let's give them to you. The Rockies lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Sullivan, Carroll, Helton, Atkins, Holiday, Hop, Gonzalez, Ardois, and Francis. See where Hop is hitting .348, 3rd best in the National League this season. Matt Holliday will dig in with 7 home runs and 29 driven in.
He was one of the guys that I was very impressed with last year, and I guess his .458 career average against the Cardinals helps that out. Big, strong guy.
See where Molina picked up something with the arm angle of Jason Marquis.
I was real surprised on that 3-2 pitch that he didn't at least step off or throw over to first base, because you could see that Carroll had tried to run on the 1 pitch, and then he was leaning on the pitch that was up and in for ball 4.
2 outs, runners at 1st and 2nd, and a 1-0 pitch. Oh, up and in on Matt Holliday, and now the bases are loaded.
And this is kind of the continuation of the 1st inning problems.
Defense behind Marquis tonight, brought to you by Auto Tire. Bases loaded now for Hoff. Taguchi in left, Edmonds in center, Encarnacion is in right. Gold Glover, Scott Rowland at 3rd, Eckstein at short. Luna gets the start at 2nd, Pujols at 1st, and Molina is behind the plate. So look at the Auto Tire defense, and this pitch is not only inside, but it's up again. A lot of pitches now in the last 4 or 5 have been up in the zone.
That's where you start thinking he's trying to overthrow and obviously not staying on top of the ball. We talked about Molina trying to get his arm angle up, dropping the elbow a little bit. Pop, #1 in road average, 446. But he was just 2 for 13 on the homestand and 0 for 6 in his last 2 games. 2nd time with consecutive hitless contests.
Well, Marquis Funk deepened really in his last time out. He's winless in those 3 starts. And the most telling item from those games, other than 19 runs and 16 2/3 that he's given up, his command. He's issued 10 walks and struck out just 8 over those 3 games, and the Rockies grab an early lead. 1 run in. Here comes another. They're going to test Juan Encarnacion. The throw is there and bobbled by Molina. Throw down to 2nd and safe at 2nd. It's 2-0 Rockies. Eckstein thought they got him. Atkins and Carroll come around to score.
I'm sure Jim Edmonds is screaming also at young Jim Wolf, the 2nd base umpire. And Eckstein, I'm sure, won't say much, but absolutely shocked that he did not get the out. They fire home. Good strong throw. Molina has a little trouble. Short hop, and then they try to, so the run scores the 2nd one. And then he'll throw to 2nd where it appeared that the throw's there in time. Looked like he got the hand down, but the fingers might have got to the bag ahead of it. But it sure appeared that the tag was good.
And the 1st inning problems continue again for Marquis. 2-0 Colorado.
And the first error of the year for Molina. How about that?
That's a tough error.
That is a very tough error. Short hop at the plate, and he makes a strong throw. And I wouldn't think that would hold.
And he hits another man. That's Gonzalez. So that's 2 batters he has hit here in this inning, and he's also walked a man, and already here comes Dave Duncan. First inning runs for Marquis, 9 allowed, 9 earned in 7 starts this year.
Well, and it's just not only the runs, but the pitch count, the high pitch count. His last time out in 5 2/3, 117 pitches. And yet in that game, with a little luck from the bullpen, he could have gotten out of it with only 3 runs scored, the 3 runs he gave up in the 1st inning, and he got deep into that contest. And the Cardinals would have won it if the bullpen and Brad Thompson wouldn't allow the 2-run base hit to the first batter he faced.
Al, when we were in Houston, Tony La Russa was telling me, he said the only time we see Marquis struggle is when he is hyper. I mean, he overthrows, his command is lost, but he's hyper, and they can't calm him down, and he seems to settle in even after these first innings in which he has problems, but he settles in, and all of a sudden you look up, he's gone 5, 6, 7 innings. Gets the ground ball. Luna backs up, has a force play at second. Eckstein is there. Colorado jumps out to an early lead on the road against Jason Marquis, and it's 2-0. Redbirds coming up in their half of the first. Bottom of the first here in St. Louis, and the Rockies have a 2-0 lead. Look at Tony La Russa's lineup tonight is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, Luna, and Pujols here in the first. 16 home runs this season. That leads the National League for Albert. Then Roland, Encarnacion, Edmonds, Molina, Taguchi, and Jason Marquis. On the mound, Jeff Francis, and his numbers brought to you by Rico, the Colorado Rockies starter.
Well, he really hadn't been getting any run support in his last 3 starts because he only won 1 time with an ERA of .95. 2 earned runs in 19 innings. Little lefty, really starting to get command of his fastball. He's got an excellent changeup, good curveball, and really trying to learn how to pitch to the outside part of the plate. Much more effective.
Eckstein is hitting .291, and he looks at a ball on the outside corner. 37 hits for the Cardinal leadoff man. David had a chance to catch up with a former Gator here at the ballpark tonight, David Lee. Young man out of Chaminade High School who went to Florida and then
there he is
playing now with the Knicks. And Larry Brown, what a fun season those Knicks had this year. Larry Brown in his return to New York. He was the slam dunk champion, I believe. McDonald's All-American coming out of high school. This is down the right field line, and the catch is made by Brad Hopp, a sliding grab on the line, and even the fans here at Busch give him a nice round of applause. The defense is brought to you by Auto Tire for the Rockies. Holiday, Sullivan, and Hopp in the outfield. Atkins, Carroll, Gonzalez, Helton on the infield. Artois behind the plate. Francis on the mound, and that's your Auto Tire defense.
That's why visiting teams love to come to St. Louis, because the fans are so fair and appreciate the play of the visitors.
Hector Luna in that second spot in the lineup in front of Albert Pujols. Go back to the last catch. It's a good play.
He was guarding the line, and so he was able to get there. But it's still, either way you look at it, it's a very nice play.
Luna out to left field. Matt Holliday is backing up. He calls for it, makes the catch in front of that Bud Light sign, and there's 2 away.
Francis is from Canada, Terrier, and you know there's only 2 Cardinals that have hits off him. One is Albert, that's not surprising, 1 for 1. The other is Scott Rowland.
Here's Pujols hitting .314. He put on a show during batting practice today, as he was hitting some long home runs. First pitch to him is taken for a ball. Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, is playing nearly in left field, coaching in left field. Look how deep he is. But I don't blame him. And he wanted me to clarify something that was said in the paper by Jason Isringhausen this morning. He said, it is true I do hit fungos to Albert Pujols when he's at first, but I don't hit rockets at him. I don't want to get Albert hurt. And he also is serious in this. He said, look, if there are coaches out there that read that, he said that is not the way to do it. If you're going to hit fungos standing at second base and hit him to your first baseman, he said, Al, that's not the way I want to do it. If you got little leaguers, you roll it to them, then you start working on the short hops, and you just want to get their hands going, get a feel for those short hops and the ones that come in on your body. So a clarification from Jose Oquendo.
But the point was, as they talked about being the best infield coach in baseball.
Aaron Miles has talked about how he has helped him tremendously, the former Rocky, and of course Hector Luna. Here's Scott Rowland. He takes a strike. Rockies didn't even mess with Pujols, just 4 straight. Put him on.
There's two pretty good hitters right there. Two glove men, too.
Of course, Todd Helton, a former quarterback at Tennessee. Very good athlete. And he is coming off a freak illness to his intestine, in which he lost 15 pounds. And of course, Scott Rowland lost 10 pounds in his illness.
And both saying that, you know, they're not 100% yet, but they're both hitting.
Of course, Todd Helton knows Peyton Manning very, very well. Teammates while playing football together at Tennessee.
Scott was 6 for 12 on the road trip.
Here's the 0-2. I think Todd chose the right sport, Al.
Yes, he did. And I think his body, even though he had a little intestinal problem,
exactly,
his body is much better off.
When he was at Tennessee, he was a pitcher and a very good one, as well as being a very good hitter, obviously. But he was a pitcher and a quarterback at Tennessee. The Volunteers. Here's a 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss by Rowland. First strikeout of the night for Jeff Francis, and it's 2-0 Rockies. Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Bush Light. By Auto Tire, the tire pros. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Southwest Airlines, with more flights to more places than ever before. Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest. The Rockies sent 8 men to the plate in the first inning. They lead it 2-0. This is their pitcher, Jeff Francis.
You see how low Molina's given these targets, and almost, you know, where normally we see it looks like Marquis maxing out and trying to overthrow. He's trying to guide the ball now.
Al told you that Jeff Francis is from Canada, North Delta, British Columbia. That's the area from which Larry Walker was born and raised. Breaking ball in the dirt. The count runs to 2-2. And Francis has said that Walker was one of his idols growing up, and met him when he was drafted and then signed by the Rockies, and Larry was still there. Little low.
Third ball there. Now Jason's got that dominant sinker, but when it's up, it just doesn't move.
And it's a walk to the pitcher. First inning troubles for Jason Marquis as he gave up 2 runs.
You know, the ball's, you know, up in the zone a little bit, in the middle of the plate. You got some good hitters here. Then he starts getting it up even higher. That's right in the wheelhouse of a left-hander. Second hit batsman. There were only 2 hits allowed. Now he finally gets one down, and he gets the ground ball and he gets out of the inning.
And we're back to the top of the order, and Corey Sullivan. Sullivan fly to center his first time up. This one is fouled back on a bunt attempt. Second inning and trying to bunt the pitcher over.
If they're in Colorado, they usually just go ahead and play for crooked numbers, but on the road trying to dent that scoreboard anyway. Albert playing behind the pitcher.
Sullivan's got good speed. 5 triples already this season. He bunts it towards Marquis. He slides out. Good tag by Albert. He almost beat it out.
Clint Hurdle's going to come out and talk.
I'm sure one of the questions that he's going to ask is, did you see it with the glove or did you see it with the hand? He didn't get him.
Yeah, but he sold it. First base umpire is Tony Randazzo. and he's in a position where he's kind of screened a little bit. Dave Collins is the first base coach, and he was the one that first started complaining, and that's what brought out. You see he swipes and looks like it, but I think where the umpire was, he couldn't really tell. He tried to get in position, and it looks like he misses him, but Albert does the right thing by immediately showing the ball to the umpire and selling the deal.
May have slowed him up just a bit too with the glove. Either case, it's a sacrifice, and now Jamie Carroll an RBI opportunity. He singled and scored in the first. 88-mile-an-hour fastball in there for strike one. Has started 6 straight as Carroll, and 11 of the last 15.
He's given him a shot in the arm. Gonzalez has been struggling with the bat, so Jamie Carroll got some playing time at second. Barmas, their very fine shortstop, got the night off. He's been struggling a little bit of late, so Jamie gets to play shortstop.
So 9 starts prior to tonight at second base, 4 at short, and 1 at third. Very useful utility man. Crowd a bit restless. It's 2 balls and a strike. This is a guy that will not swing wildly either. He sees nearly 5 pitches per plate appearance. It's 11th highest ratio in the majors from 03 to now. And it's 3-1. "31 pitches already tonight for Marquis, and only 15 have been strikes." And a 3-1 pitch from the Cardinal right-hander. Fouled away. Crowd is still filing in. ERA by inning, and that's kind of what we're talking about. Innings 4 through 6, Al. He just wears himself down, and all of a sudden he finds himself in a little bit of a groove.
And just then he's on fumes if he gets past the 6th inning for that high ERA, but that's very little pitching time. But that first inning is what's been doing him in.
Full count pitch by Marquis. Ball 4. He has hit 2 and he has walked 3.
Just setting up the double play ball for a great hitter.
3-run homer yesterday for Todd Helton that broke a 1-1 tie, and this Colorado team helped out the Cardinals. They swept Houston.
They're young. They think they're good right now, and they're proving it. But they're a team that right now they're high on confidence, and you've got to treat them with respect.
Helton has hit Marquis very well. A .429 clip coming into play tonight. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 4 walks. Out to left field. Helton is going to be 0 for 2, twice flying out to Show Taguchi. Brings in Garrett Atkins. Runners at first and second.
Almost right off the shoot tops.
Atkins walked and scored. Hitting .322. Runners at first and second. Rockies with a 2-0 lead. One hopper to Luna. He backs up on the outfield grass, and the Rockies strand 2. They've left 5 on in the first 2 innings. Coming up for the Cardinals, Encarnacion, Edmonds, and Molina. 2-0 Rockies. Singular wireless question tonight: which starter will end the season with the most wins? Carpenter, Mulder, Marquis, Suppan, or Ponson? 42957 to text your vote on your singular wireless. And the Cardinals, Al, picked up some pretty good news, didn't they, with Sidney Ponson?
Well, you know, and also with the break in the schedule, to where they really feel that it'd be okay, miss a little time. They don't have to make a roster move or anything. You got an off day on Thursday and Monday, so you can go through the rotation one time before making a change, and hopefully he'll respond to treatment.
Of course, he had to leave his start yesterday in Florida as the Cardinals rolled over the Marlins in the sweep of Florida. It's a bone spur, they say, in the back of his elbow, and it's something he has dealt with before in his career in Baltimore, but not considered serious.
And see, it's like Flores had a bone spur that he had removed after the season, but he pitched with it all last year, and sometimes you do it for years.
Gonzalez backing up. The second baseman makes the catch for the first out. Here's Jim Edmonds hitting .237. 4 home runs, 21 RBIs on the year for the Cardinals center fielder. Cardinals, by the way, have activated Larry Bigby for the ball game tonight. A left-hander on the mound. He's on the bench, and the Cardinals have sent John Gall back to AAA Memphis. Bigby and Miles sitting with each other, and 2 former Rocky teammates.
Acquired in the Ray King trade.
What a trade. If you go back to the Wainwright, J.D. Drew, Eli Marrero deal that also brought Marquis. It's just been amazing how that trade has worked out for the St. Louis Cardinals, and even at the time, and then what's happening right now.
You know, it's fun to look at, like you say, how a trade evolves and how many players are acquired from the original deal. But that is a definite one-sided deal. And, you know, John Sherholz said it was a deal originally between the Braves, sending J.D. Drew and Marrero, who's with Colorado now. But John Sherholz said, yeah, it's a great trade for both teams if we can re-sign J.D. Drew.
Of course, he went to the Dodgers after a very good season with the Atlanta Braves. And in his first season a year ago, of course, J.D. got hurt. And they're counting on big things with J.D. Drew in Los Angeles. Sometimes the deals are the ones that you don't make, or the signings that you don't get the chance to complete, like with A.J. Burnett.
Sure.
And you know, now you look at it and you say thank you. Out in right center field. And the Toronto Blue Jays now are trying to figure out what exactly is wrong with the elbow of A.J. Burnett. They've had it looked at time and again. No structural damage, and they feel it's in his head.
That's kind of hard to start a long-term relationship with a guy that you kind of question his heart right out the chute. But that was one of the reasons, you know, I mean, I was never really that sold on A.J. Burnett. Yeah, if you look at his raw talent, or, you know, what his ability is, but you got to look at that history of injury. You got to look at all kinds of things. So you fit in with this ball club. And then when it got up to beyond the offer of the Cardinals, around 39 to 40 million, bye ya.
See you later.
Yeah.
They also signed B.J. Ryan. That's worked out. Yeah, that's worked out so far.
Well,
they traded for Troy Gloss. That's worked out.
There's a left-handed reliever.
Of course. And I knew for you to agree with me, I had to say left-handed reliever. I had to come up with somebody that you would agree with.
No, partner.
Here's a 2-1 pitch.
Lena's starting to show some signs of coming alive. 4-game hitting streak, but that average is still down there.
Pitch on the inside corner. He was 0 for 16, but he has had 1 hit in each of the last 4 games. Also has thrown out a 4th potential base stealer in the last 5, and that's his value. Defense behind the plate. Molina hits it high in the air out to left field, gets underneath it. Holiday is there. The Cardinals go 1-2-3. 3rd inning coming up from Busch Stadium. The Rockies lead it 2-0.
First.
Well, tonight FSN Midwest presents Red Sox Yankees, the ultimate rivalry. An all-access look at the emotionally charged battles between 2 of baseball's most storied teams. The 21st Century Edition stacks up with DiMaggio against Williams and Reggie against Yaz. It's Monday tonight, 10:30, right here on FSN Midwest. Colorado a 2-0 lead. third inning. This is Matt Holliday. Now, you talked about it. 11 for 24. Matt Holliday, 7 games against the St. Louis Cardinals, our Ford Key matchup. No wonder you thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he always impressed me, and now I understand why. He's hit .409 with a couple doubles, 3 home runs over his last 6 games. He's 4th in the National League with 29 RBIs in 31 games.
2 balls and 1 strike on Matt Holliday. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Brad Hopp is on deck, and then Luis Gonzalez. A little upstairs, and it's 3-1. Big crowd tonight here at Busch Stadium, sold out.
There aren't seats available.
Smoked out to center field. Edmonds looking up, and that ball is gone. It's a home run. 3-0 Rockies. Matt Holliday with his 8th and his 30th RBI. Boy, that's a hard hit ball right there.
I just watched Edmonds, and he just kind of coasted a little bit and down behind. Ball kind of down, but this kid is strong, and he's swinging a hot bat right now, and Edmonds just kind of looked up and just saw how far it goes.
Glenn Hurdle was saying his team finally believes, after all the losing that they've endured over the last couple of seasons, he said, look, we're winning games, and we feel that we can stay in this thing the entire year.
It started shaping up that way for him in the second half of last year.
Yeah, despite their last place finish, Al, they went 36-36 from July 18th to the end of the season. That was the best mark, even though 500, the best mark in their division.
Yeah, and because of the division they're in, you feel pretty good about yourself competing.
Popped up left side. Rolling his air along with David Eckstein. It's going to be Eckstein who takes it for the first out.
Did David Eckstein use 2 hands there?
2 hands, Al.
Gee, that sure seems like a right way to do it. One of the things we've already noticed in this game is how cool Holliday, and you see Hop out there, Gonzalez, all the one-handed stuff. It looks good as long as they end up in the glove, but 2 hands is the proper way to do it, kids.
Time is called by Luis Gonzalez. He was hit by a pitch to load him up back in the first. Broken bat. Hit to Luna. A little English on that spin on the baseball. Two outs, and it brings in Ardois.
See, David, you go 2 hands, and boy, so much. It looks better. It's not as flashy, but you sure don't drop as many balls. Or if the ball goes to bounce out, you smother it with a bare hand. There's 100 field box seats available for tomorrow.
100, huh?
Yeah. 200 field box and loge box for Wednesday. And you got your standing room only of 2,100. Those 250 first pitch tickets. And you can always see what's available on the Prime Seat Club at stlcardinals.com.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. And a base hit out to left for the Rockies catcher. Already their 4th hit of the night against Marquee. And it brings in Francis, who walked his first time up. Average at 0.83, and Marquee would walk him, but he was left stranded. Fastball and a strike at 89 miles an hour.
When you are out there pitching, that 8th place hitter has responsibility. He wants to get that pitcher up, but you as a pitcher, that's when you really bear down and you make sure you retire that 8th place hitter, and you got an early 1/3 of your easy inning the next inning by saving the pitcher to lead off. And most of the time, if you can get the leadoff man, they're not going to score unless they do it via the home run.
Count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Next to Francis is inside. Throw back by Molina. Got him. He gunned him down. Oh, he is something else from behind the plate. Yadier Molina with that cannon. And the quick tag here by Albert Pujols. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Commander of the 840th Transportation Battalion in Iraq. And yes, he carries a bobblehead, the Al Rabaski bobblehead. Lieutenant Colonel Todd Robbins of the United States Army.
And he's got a website. Where's Hungo?
Let's see. Where is Hungo? The blog site that allows people to see the various missions in Iraq that the famous Al Rabaski bobblehead has been a part of.
You know what? You know, I'm wounded up here, but my leg got shot. It showed me my leg's taped on the bobblehead.
Oh, the bobblehead.
It's tough duty over in Iraq.
So
the colonel's safe, but I saved him. You know, I got wounded. I guess I've been in Saddam Hussein's palace. You know, I've inspected a couple, you know, vehicles that didn't do too well, and I've been all over the place. I've been, you know, the bobblehead's just kind of going over there, so it's kind of a fun thing to check out. And of course, I met Colonel Robbins. He's been over here at Scott for a couple years, and he's actually came home last week, so he had a chance to be with his family. He had to go to a conference in Nashville, but then Wednesday he goes back over to serve the rest of his year duty. He just went over in January.
Well, we can't thank him enough, and all the men and women, the armed forces. If you'd like to find out more about that too, I'm serious.
I know.
He keeps a blog and keeps fans back in the United States up to date. Lieutenant Colonel Robbins, and you can visit with him. Where is Hungo.blogspot.com. Jason Marquis with the first Cardinal hit of the night out to left. He may struggle on the mound, but he can hit.
Last year's Silver Slugger Award winner. Combined, he had 27 hits, 3 of them as a pinch hitter, 24 as a pitcher. He's hit better 291 in his Cardinal career.
Here's David Eckstein. Let's see if the Cardinals can get a better look. Second time through against Jeff Francis. Marquis, the only Cardinal hit of the night, down 3-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Eckstein flew to right his first time up. First pitch is in there for a strike. Well, the Cardinals had batted around in an inning just once since opening day before they got to Dolphin Stadium this past weekend. Then they batted around in the 5th inning Friday. They did it again on Saturday and then on Sunday. Tough to turn to here. 6-4 and safe at first is Eckstein. Good turn though by Gonzalez at second base.
I'm surprised it was even that close.
Me too.
Jamie Carroll, the shortstop, kind of fielded a slow hit ground ball and backpedaling, so he didn't have a lot on the throw to second. But a good return throw from Gonzalez, the second baseman, and it was a little bit low too.
Interesting, in those big innings that the Cardinals had over the weekend, there was only 1 walk in Friday's big inning, none in Saturday's. But Hal McRae pointed out that patience is still the key to this team's success offensively, even without the walks. 2 outs and a runner at first. What he means by that, getting the right pitches to hit and drive.
Hitting in favorable counts.
Tony La Russa saying a lot of clutch at bats over the weekend. There goes Eckstein, and a throw down to second base. Goodbye. Luna left standing at the plate. That ends the 3rd as Eckstein is caught stealing. Francis, Sullivan, and Carroll coming up for the Rockies, and they lead it by 3 runs. Website stlcardinals.com. 3-0 Colorado. Marquis back to work. 4 hits on the night for the Rockies. Cardinals with just 1. That was from Jason Marquis. Marquis started out last season in 7 starts, first 7. He was 5-1 and allowed 7 runs. This year, including tonight, already 16 runs allowed in those 6+ starts. And he's 3-3. After tonight, we'll see. Francis retired, back to the top of the order. 3rd time already now for the Rockies against Marquis, and Jason has thrown 52 pitches on the night.
Only 27 of those 52 are strikes. So still many times pitching behind the count. That's sort of that formula that the Cardinals used to win in Florida. You know, you get your walks, but you're pitching, or you're hitting when you're ahead in the count.
Cardinals are 12-4 here at home, second only to Houston's 14-4 inside Minute Maid Park. Ground ball to Albert, handled easily. There's 2 outs. This date in baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. With the Rockies up by 3 runs, Bob Gibson sets a major league mark by starting his 242nd straight game. May 8th, 1973 in our Schnucks. This date in baseball history. I know one of the things that you always love to point out, and I think it's worth repeating, is the wins as compared to complete games that he put together in his career. Out to left, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Marquis. We'll talk about Bob Gibson, the Hall of Famer, when we come back. Luna, Pujols, and Roland are up for the Cardinals in their half of the 4th. Ask about it at work. And by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. Here's Hector Luna for the Cardinals. The first pitch is taken for a ball. It was 251 wins for Bob Gibson in his Hall of Fame career. 255 complete games.
And I saw Bob several times go 9, 10 and get a no decision.
Wouldn't see that now.
No. And you know, it's staggering to me when you even bring that up and you ask current players, and just how off. You know, I mean, some of them don't even get into, 100 games, complete games.
Hector Luna out to deep left field, has a shot at the track. Backing up and making the catch is Holiday. And it brings in Albert Pujols. Mind you, Sunday, May 14th, first 20,000 women 16 and over with a paid admission receive a Tab Energy Deerberg's canvas tote bag. It's compliments of Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Cardinals and Deerberg's. For ticket information, check it out on the Prime Seat Club at stlcardinals.com.
The first time all the seats will be available will be Monday, May 29th against Houston. All the left field pavilion seats and box pavilion reserved. And there's a lot of tickets available for that series.
Pujols rips it fair. Off that side wall, Albert thinking 2. Wide turnaround first, about halfway, no stop. So hard hit ball off the bat of Pujols, who still is nursing that sore back as well as that sore shin when he fouled the ball off his shin in Houston.
Wide stance, just lifts that foot up. Strides into the pitch a little bit more, but the hands stay back. They're cocked, ready to deliver, and then they're quick right through the zone. And you can see in that angle, you can see the velocity of the ball coming off the bat. And a nice defensive play as Holiday gets the ball back into the infield, holding him to that single.
So we're going to have more seats available here at the ballpark, and we also will have, for some, better views, as that one is hit out to right because of the foul poles. They've been reduced in size.
Yeah, the new foul poles are erected, and I'm sure a lot of those fans are quite happy now.
Back to Bob Gibson for a moment, Al. I asked him last year about this. I said, do you get emotional about ballparks like fans do and maybe some players? He said, absolutely not. He said, I could care less about moving out of the old Busch Stadium and moving into this ballpark.
I almost felt guilty because that's the way I felt. Because I embrace change. I know it's better for the fans. Players care about the playing surface and they care about the clubhouses because they live in them today.
He said, though, he did have a favorite moment. And he said, out of all the great moments I had, he said, winning that first World Series championship against the Yankees. He said, for me, there was just nothing better. He said, and as I was asking him, he was getting kind of emotional about it. He said, they were the Yankees. We weren't even supposed to be able to play with those guys. We were a young team, and here I'm going out in Game 5. He threw a complete game. Game 7, then he throws a complete game, and the Cardinals beat the vaunted New York Yankees.
Well, if you really get into Bob and talk about this series, you know what you talk about? He bought more tickets than what his World Series share was.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's how times have changed. And of course, in New York, Red wouldn't even let us eat in the clubhouse there because they had one Bunsen burner. They cook off the floor and it was filthy. They'd heat the pizzas in the dryer.
Apparently, the Mets and the Yankees are going to get new stadiums.
Yes. Over $1 billion for the Yankees.
Over $1 billion.
$800 million for the Mets.
1-2 the count on Juan Encarnacion. Popped out to second base his first time up. That one slices out of play and foul.
Corey Sullivan, the center fielder, looks like he has great respect for Encarnacion's power.
Juan with 4 home runs, and he picked up 3 in a row about a week ago. 3 consecutive games with home runs. Bob's got a hobby now, by the way. Trains.
Trains?
Trains.
It's pretty handy around the house. So he probably built his own track and display.
2-2. Says he doesn't watch much baseball, but when Roger Clemens is pitching, he says, I like to watch the Rocket. It reminds me of myself. Hit to Helton, and the former Gold Glover puts it away. Cardinals strand a runner. That's Albert Pujols, and we played 4. The Rockies lead it 3-0. Hit it out. Enos Slaughter's number 9 is now retired by the Cardinals. Name 3 other Cardinals who wore the number 9. Congratulations to Joe Torre. He just picked up victory number 1000 in a Yankees uniform.
Yeah, and that's one of your answers too.
That's one of them. Another fly ball out to left, and 3 times tonight Helton has flied to left. And Helton has been up 3 times already. We're only in the 5th, but it's only 3-0. Al, you and I were talking about this on the way home from Florida. I mean, that job in New York isn't about managing. It's about a little bit of dealing with the players, a lot of dealing with the press, and a lot of dealing with George Steinbrenner.
Keeping the players distance from the media and George. But
Joe Torre's perfect, though.
Well, and Joe was, he's Brooklyn. He understands the people up there. He's so well respected.
Out to right, it's slicing. That could be trouble, and it's a fair ball off the side wall. Juan over to get it, and digging in for 2. It's Garrett Atkins. He was a terrific minor league player in the system for Colorado. He was their minor league player of the year in the past. He also led all of the minor leagues in hitting back in 2004. Now he's starting to hit at the major league level.
He's hit .330 in his last 29 games, 24 runs. That's his 11th double during that time. 4 home runs, 19 RBIs. They've just got a bunch of good-looking young sluggers. but they remade their bullpen and starting to get some homegrown pitchers, you know, like Francis tonight.
Runner at second base for Holiday, who is homered to center field and was hit by a pitch. Smokes it out to left. Coming on, so Taguchi, the runner. Atkins will stop at third. Cut off by Scott Rowland, and it's first and third with one out here in the top of the fifth. Well, tomorrow, tune in as the Rockies and the Cardinals playing game number 2 on FSN Midwest. That telecast will be presented in high definition with the razor sharp clarity of HD. You'll feel like you're at the game. Check with your local cable provider for more information and the HD channel number. Catch the Cardinals in HD only on FSN Midwest.
Josh Fogg versus Chris Carpenter.
And now it's Brad Hopp. You're the general manager of the Rockies. You've seen him go through the Lake Street Bombers. You've seen the disaster that was Mike Hampton and Denny Nagel. I'm not sure going into a draft how you approach it. I mean, what's your organization's theory on playing at Coors Field? They've tried a lot of different options.
And there's been coaches there that have believed that one of the ways to do it is to bring the fences in.
Here's a base hit right side. Atkins will score. That makes it 4-0. 3 consecutive hits by Colorado. Three consecutive hits and 7 on the night for the Rockies. And another pitch that's up from Marquis.
Bell tie right there. Albert trying to hold the man on just to his right and through. Didn't have a shot at it. Encarnacion gets it back in, so they can't go from first to third, but another run, and it looks like Brad Thompson is starting to throw, and nearly a third batter hit.
Would have been the second time that Gonzalez has been hit tonight, so Thompson is going to try to get loose in a hurry as Marquis has not been sharp. Cardinals have been out hit 7-2 in this game, and they trail 4-0. But a double play, and Marquis gets out of the inning.
Well, that's very few ground balls for a ground ball specialist.
And coming up, it'll be pitch number 65 here in the 5th inning for Marquis. Out to left. May drop for a hit. Taguchi coming on. He won't get there. A little bloop base hit. 5-0 Colorado on the RBI by Gonzalez. 4 consecutive hits against Jason Marquis.
It's one of the biggest differences you see today, where you see so many consecutive base hits, and this one wasn't hit well, but it was effective. Dave Duncan out to talk, but used to think that, you know, I mean, a big inning was a 3-run home run, but you just never saw, you know, 2 or 3 hits or a walk or hit batsman. You never saw that, you know, consecutively. So most of the scoring was like 1 run.
Little bloop hit down the right field line started things in the double by Atkins. Then Holiday the single, Hopp a single, Gonzalez a single. Name the 3 Cardinals who wore the number 9. Roger Maris, Joe Torre, and Terry Pendleton. The Aflac trivia question tonight. Terry Pendleton, a coach with Bobby Cox in Atlanta. And Terry Pendleton is now a coach with Roger McDowell, pitching coach after the Mad Rocker left. And it was Terry Pendleton who hit that famous home run at Shea Stadium off of Roger McDowell.
Right. They were raving about Roger in spring training. But it almost like the, you know, the cult story of Leo Mazzoni grows even larger in his absence now because of the struggles they've had with their pitching staff.
Sure.
And yet there's many that felt that the true pitching coach in the last few years was John Smoltz.
Right. Get out to right. Encarnacion coming on. He'll make the catch on the run. There's 2 outs and the pitcher is due up. Four, 5, and 6, and 7 in this lineup have done some damage for Colorado.
And you would think that Todd Helton would be in the middle of it instead of an 0 for 3.
8 hits against Marquis. Francis has walked and lined out to center. Chicago and San Diego later tonight. Houston and San Francisco as well, as Bonds looks for history. Next home run will be tied with Babe Ruth. Eckstein to second base. The Rockies add to their lead. They got 2 in the first, 1 in the third, and 2 more in the fifth. 8 hits on the night against Cardinals starter Jason Marquis. The Cardinals with only 2. They're going to play catch up tonight. They're down by 5. Rockies and Cardinals tomorrow on FSN at 6:30 on HD. Our What's on Tap brought to you by Bud Light. The Bud Light What's on Tap. Rockies and Cardinals tomorrow at 6:30. Jamie Quirk, guy that you know very well, Al.
Played with Jamie in Kansas City. Spent a brief time, as well as Clint Hurdle, as members of the Cardinals. And he was quite a high school quarterback. Had a 100+ scholarship offers, and was #1 draft pick of the Royals.
Here's Edmonds. Takes a ball low and away. Cardinals with 2 hits. Trail 5-0. One of those hits was by Jason Marquis. Brad Thompson was up in the Cardinal bullpen. He sits back down. Edmonds grounds it to second. Taken by Gonzalez. Talk about highly touted prospects. How about Clint Hurdle when he first arrived on the scene?
Clint Hurdle out of Florida was, he was a line drive hitter, and then he is an outfielder, and then he had to replace John Mabry. Was a big power hitter, played first base, and he was 20 years of age when he got to big leagues. And it was just one of those things where never really materialized as a player, but has had a career that spanned better than 10 years, and showing signs of being a very solid baseball man as a manager.
I've talked to him before about influences in the game of baseball for him. He said Whitey Herzog and the late Dick Hauser in Kansas City, John McNamara in Cincinnati. He said Frank Howard, Davey Johnson with the Mets, Herzog again in St. Louis.
Clint played with the Cardinals in '86, Jamie Quirk in '83.
Pitch inside to Molina. The Cardinals have hit 2 Rocky hitters.
He's been with this organization for a while now. He was with coach for under a couple different regimes before he took over the manager's spot.
Off the bat of Molina and out to right. 2 away. In 3 games, counting the Cardinal hits and Marlins walks and errors, the Cardinals reach base 50 times and 23 of them scored. Tonight only 2 hits and just 1 walk given up by Francis. One ball, 1 strike on Sotoguchi. Little tapper out in front of the mound. Francis has to be quick. And a great pick over there at first by Todd Helton. He's one of the best defensively in the game of baseball. Todd Helton, top of the order coming up for the Rockies. Coming up later tonight, it's the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. Complete post-game wrap-up and all the sports news and notes coming up on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. Cardinals down by the score of 5-0. And here's Corey Sullivan. Rockies have left 7 on but scored 5 runs. Cardinals have left 2 on but only have 2 hits. Good piece of hitting waiting on the breaking ball, and Sullivan is aboard. Got to watch out for him with his good speed at first.
Bullpen will get active again, as that's 9 hits now against Jason Marquis in 5+ innings.
Now you know that Tony would love to get Marquis through one more inning. He's due up first in the 6th. And it brings up Jamie Carroll, who twice has been on base. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Sullivan, a guy that they're getting back off an injury from a couple of seasons ago. Short lead at first base. We'll square again. Carroll. Sacrifice is good. Second time that Clint Hurdle has used the sacrifice. Sullivan to second, and it brings in Todd Helton, who is 0 for 3.
So far, Jason said probably came in worrying the most about Helton, and he's done a good job on how to get him out, but everybody else has been on hit parade.
Remember Todd Helton a year ago and the early season struggles he had. He was hitting just .288 at the All-Star break, which for him is way down. Hit .367 though in the second half of the season, and finished 4th in the batting race at .320. Had a .445 on base percentage a year ago. That led the major leagues. One ball, one strike on Todd Helton. Oh for 3 with 3 flyouts to Sho Taguchi. 2-1. One final in Major League Baseball. Toronto over the Angels 5-1. Texas over Minnesota 6-3. That's in the 8th. 2-2 Cleveland and Kansas City. That's in the 5th. Marquis, a long look with the runner at second. That's Sullivan. The 2-1 to Todd Helton. A little low. Helton was pretty nervous about the recent illness that he had. They couldn't figure out why he was having high fevers and losing weight. Said it was just excruciating to get out of bed, the pain that he was in. The 3-1 pitch. Out to center. Edmonds is there. Sullivan at the bag at second. 2 down. It's now Todd Helton 0 for 4 tonight against Marquis.
Well, let's see how he's doing it with our pitch by pitch. He comes in with a fastball. It's down and around the knees. Strike 1. And there was a good running fastball that didn't get the call. Looked like a changeup there, and then follows up with another changeup. High on the count. Fastball out away from him and pops him up.
Pitch by pitch feature is brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers. 2 outs, and Garrett Atkins. Hard hit to Roland, knocks it down. He can stay with it and gets his man. Rockies strand a man. Marquis is due up first when we come back. The Cardinals down 5-0. Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Enjoy the big taste and big value of Jack's delicious value menu. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers. And by U.S. Cellular, we connect with you. Jason Marquis will lead it off for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 6th. Redbirds down 5-0. Marquis has picked up a base hit tonight. The Cardinals with only 2 hits. We're back to the top of the order, and Jeff Francis, Al, has been tough tonight.
Well, he threw 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals last season. The only time they faced him. Ended up being a combined shutout, 1 of 3 right here at home against Busch Stadium.
Well, Francis really has had a remarkable turnaround over his last 3 starts, and they say he has been attacking the strike zone and really forcing the opposition to put his pitches in play. Posted a 6.75 ERA in his first 3 starts of the season, but since coming into play since then, 0.95 ERA for Francis. Just 2 runs in 19 innings, and Thursday really his most efficient outing, one of the best of his career. Season low 93 pitches to go a season high 7 innings. And he shut out the Reds on 4 hits, and that was at Coors Field. Before the 2005 season, the Rockies thought enough of him that they tabbed him as the organization's pitcher of the year. One of their best prospects. Baseball America had him in the top 10. Eckstein aboard with the 3rd Cardinal hit of the night.
Just a freeze right there. You see the point of contact. Going down, taking it back up the middle. You know, David rarely swings and misses, and you know, you just look at Francis and you just try and do it in a very casual way, just throwing strikes, keeping everyone off balance.
And Luna shoots it foul and out of play. Hector tonight 0 for 2, pair of flyouts to left. One thing the Cardinals did well in that series against the Marlins was hitting with runners in scoring position. They hit .417 in that series. Cardinals haven't had a runner past first base tonight.
Time they've gotten a hit, there's that first man has always been retired. So
this Caparata telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Our Bud Productions crew is with us. Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin. Here on FSN as Albert Pujols is on deck. He is 1 for 1 with a walk. Let's see if we can get somebody on in front of him outside of Eckstein. The time is called.
Eckstein had those little fidgety feet, and Francis wasn't sure if he wanted to run or not, so he stepped out.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Almost got him. Cardinals, as we've talked about before, put into a situation with 1 out and a runner at first, running in front of that man, Albert Pujols, and possibly leaving first base open.
Albert's been up twice. He's walked and got a base hit. So Scott Rowland has kind of struggled a little bit tonight. So unless you get into a situation like this on a 3-2 pitch, probably want to make sure Albert gets a chance to swing the bat.
Here comes a 3-2. Pulled foul. Francis last year, the Rockies' best pitcher. He was 14-12. Did spend a little time in 2004 up in the major leagues. He went 3-2. Fastball in that 87 and 91 mile-an-hour range. Curveball at 75. He's got a slider. Throws a changeup. For a young guy, you can see he's got great mound presence too. Here's a 3-2 instead of check on the runner at first.
Trying to run the ball in on him, and they got the right fielder guarding the right field line.
Runner is going on the 3-2. It's taken for a ball, and in steps Pujols, and he can make a big dent into this 5-0 lead for Colorado. And this crowd, for the first time tonight, comes alive.
Hadn't had much to cheer about other than when Albert would come to bat, but here he has a chance to do some damage. Where would the Cardinals be without the April that Albert Pujols had?
The offense just has not clicked as well as we've seen it click in the past. Runners at first and second, 5-0 Colorado. Pujols ripped a fair ball past the third baseman his last time up for a single. And Albert looks at a ball on the outside corner. Runners in scoring position, .520 average, pair of home runs, and 19 driven in. Albert is sitting on 16 home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's the first time tonight the Cardinals have had a runner in scoring position. That's Eckstein out at second base. A big test here for the young left-hander Jeff Francis. One pitch, and now time is called.
So much of the time, you know, you have to sit and wait, expect Albert to do something. It usually comes through, but
here's a 1-1. Albert high in the air out to center field. That will be caught. Eckstein will tag up from second all the way to third. Throw comes back in. Runners at first and third. And a chance now for Scott Rowland as Pujols upset with himself, shaking his head.
wow, he was a little bit out in front on that pitch. Registered at 89 miles an hour, but his actions were more like it was like a changeup. So a little bit fooled, got underneath it. You see the dip. See, Scott can't help things out.
It's up to Rowland. He struck out and flied out to right. Runners at first and third, 2 down. Cardinals trying to get on the board. Encarnacion waits on deck. A ball on the inside corner. Last home run for Scott Rowland was off of Bronson Arroyo in Cincinnati. Still not 100%. And still trying to put weight back on. Dropped almost 10 pounds. One ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and third. 5-0 Colorado. Oh, he's picked off, and he's lucky. Luna was leaning, and he was picked off, but the throw was a little bit offline.
Yeah, the throw was to the dugout side. If it's to the outfield side, see, Helton would have had the quicker tag. You know, good base stealers would say, okay, now I saw something there. I can take a bigger lead. If you're unsure of yourself, you shorten up.
Rowland tied up a bit. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
You want to get Scott Rowland out, you go up and in. And the hard stuff. See how he locks up. Even his eyes look like they close. But a lot different when we get that full extension on their arms, or where you collapse and you're locked up and in.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The next to Rowland. In the dirt, blocked. Count even 2-2. This crowd is just waiting for something to happen. Start of a 9-game homestand for the Cardinals tonight.
Starts with that two-seam grip, and then he'll spin around, goes back to that two-seam. But now he'll change it in his glove if it's another pitch.
And Roland hits it deep out to left center. Back is Sullivan with room, and he puts it away. Cardinals strand 2. They've left 4 on tonight. We head to the 7th. All Rockies. Well, if you're still looking for Cardinals baseball tickets, the newly renovated Hilton St. Louis at the ballpark brings you winning Cardinals baseball packages. Choose from 2 packages, both with Busch Stadium view rooms and a free make-your-own Fredbird from the Build-A-Bear workshop here at Busch Stadium. For more information, visit HiltonSt.Louis.com.
See some of those rooms?
Have I been in one of them? Have I seen them?
Yeah.
I've not.
I've heard they're very, very nicely up on the concierge floor. We decked out, put a lot of money into it.
That is crushed down the left field line, and it's up into the seats where no one is sitting.
But the ball came back down.
Ooh. How about that home run? The 10th hit of the night for Colorado. Holiday, the first pitch that he saw, his 8th home run, and that's his 2nd of the night.
And 3rd hit, and also is hit by a pitch. So he's had Marquis' number. He's had all the Cardinal pitchers' numbers. And once again, that's that guy that I said, hey, I'm pretty impressed with him. Like a changeup, and he didn't miss it. Look at Taguchi. He didn't move. He just was watching the flight of it up into that 2nd deck. Bounced around up there in those empty seats. Those will all be filled on May 29th. And that's it.
Tony La Russa to the bullpen. Marquis in jeopardy of losing his 4th straight. Brad Thompson will trot in. And it's 6-0 Colorado. We'll take a timeout. Tell you about the pitching change when we come back. We'll tune in tomorrow as the Rockies and the Cardinals hook up in Game 2 of their 3-game series on FSN Midwest in high definition with the razor-sharp clarity of HD. You'll feel like you're at the game here at Busch. Check with your local cable provider for more information and HD channel number. Catch the Cardinals in HD on FSN Midwest. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Chevrolet. It's Brad Thompson of the St. Louis Cardinals as Marquis goes 6. 6 runs allowed, 10 hits. Walked 3, he hit 2, did not strike out a man, and gave up 2 home runs, and both of those home runs to Matt Holliday. It's 2-1. Brad Hopp, his night. We were told that he was going to put together some pretty impressive numbers this season in our pregame report. Well, he's got a couple of hits, couple of RBIs, and of course he took that hit away from David Eckstein back in the 1st.
2 for 3 tonight for Brad, and came in batting .446 in 15 road games this season, best in the National League. And he's homered in 7 of 15 games on the road.
High in the air out to right center field. Edmonds backing up. Boy, that was hit a mile high. A couple of steps in front of the track. Hopp is one of those players that worked out with a track and field specialist at TCU. And he wanted to develop his speed and explosiveness. And he says that's one of the reasons he's put up good numbers at the start of the season. Also, Ryan Jordan was doing that too.
Yeah, he also had struggled on the most recent homestand where he was only 2 for 13 and 154 average, 0 for 6 his last 2 games, but came in with 3rd best average in the National League.
Well, Brad Thompson has a .64 ERA. That's 8th best in the National League in the relief corps. But a statistic that he does not want to hear is 7 inherited runners and 6 have scored.
Talk about that, where the first batter you face is a telling sign when you come in with men on base, and he's only with tonight he's retired 6 of 15 first batters, but several times it's happened with men on base, and that's what happened last time with Marquis and gave him a couple extra earned runs.
2-2 the count, 1 out, nobody on for Gonzalez. We talked so much about 4/5 of the starting rotation being up for free agency, and a lot of people believe Adam Wainwright will be in that rotation next year. As this one is hit down the left field line, and it's hooking foul. We forget Brad Thompson was a starter in the minor leagues and had that long string of scoreless innings. Came up to the big leagues as a reliever and really impressed a lot of folks a year ago.
He's done a good job, but you know, right here you got another ground ball pitcher serving up fly balls. And be interesting to ask Dave Duncan if he felt.
Eckstein gets it before it drops on the ground.
If Dave Duncan felt that Brad Thompson could go through a major league batting order 3 or 4 times.
Well, we feel that Wainwright hands down could. Watching how dominant he has been.
And he, you know, Wainwright's gaining a definite amount of success. You can see the Cardinal bullpen is tops in the National League in ERA, but look at Colorado. That's not supposed to be when you play your games there.
And to me, Al, that's probably number 2 on the list of why they've turned things around. The young players in their lineup putting up numbers, and their bullpen. Their bullpen has been atrocious over the last 4 or 5 years.
And that was their #1 goal this offseason, was to upgrade their bullpen. Fuentes, they feel they've got a legitimate closer in Fuentes, but Jose Mesa, the veteran, has done an unbelievable job there. They got a young guy named Ramirez that has just been sensational, right-hander. Ray King is kind of off to a little bit of a slow start. He's 1-2. And it's good to see Ray back.
Ground ball left side taken by Scott Rowland. Time to stretch here in St. Louis. As we move to the bottom of the 7th, the Cardinals trail it 6-0. Dave Breer is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Dave will qualify for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Cardinals down by 6 runs in their half of the 7th. Juan Encarnacion, Jim Edmonds, and Yadier Molina. They have been shut down by Jeff Francis, who's allowed just 3 hits. And they have been able to knock out the Cardinals starter Jason Marquis, who went 6 innings, did pitch into the 7th. 10 hits and 6 runs allowed for Marquis.
Jeff Francis, his last 3 starts, has an ERA under 1 coming in tonight, and just 1 win during that time. So a lot more run support for him here tonight. And the Cardinals, in his 2nd start and 12 innings pitched, have not scored on him yet.
Ground ball hit to short. Of course, you take a look at Marquis, and you want to see ground ball outs with strikeouts too, and did not strike out a man tonight. And he had the outs that he got, 8 fly ball outs. Well, that's just too many when you think about Marquis. It's usually going to be ground ball after ground ball when he's on.
Gave up 10 hits. He walked a couple, hit a couple. He walked 3, hit 2. A couple home runs allowed.
One out, nobody on, and this is Edmonds. I don't know how they measure these things. Matt Holliday's home run measured at 436 feet. So he's got 838 feet of home runs tonight, Al. It's measured exactly here at the New Busch Stadium. You got me?
Yes. It is
800 plus, Al.
They have a very sophisticated system. But you can watch this. Of course, So Taguchi thinks it's going back to Tokyo. He looked like he was in shock.
That expression says it all, doesn't it? 2-2 the count on Edmonds. At the old Busch Stadium, depending on where it hit, they had a pretty good idea of where it traveled as far as distance, how far.
It's the same principle. Every park, they have a system, and they got a chart that says the ball goes here, goes there, this is what the distance are, but then it's an individual going, okay, that's where it landed.
Or even if it's on its way down, still going out.
Yeah.
Putting a hole in somebody's chest. 3-2 on Edmonds.
It's something for the announcers to talk about.
Yep. Edmonds with a base hit into right.
Jim's starting to come around a little bit.
Who's raising the bar? Our singular wireless text message question. Which starter will end the season with the most wins? Another thing for us to talk about, Al. Shocking, Chris Carpenter gets the most votes. One out base hit for Edmonds, and now it's Molina. Out of here tonight, 0 for 2. He's flying to left and flying to right.
One of the things that, Hal McRae has been trying to work so many different ways with Molina. And one of the things we've been trying to do to get him quieted down and not have so much sway and movement is to try and hit the ball hard to the right side. Slow him down so he doesn't move it.
Pitch to do it was right there on the outside corner. Just take it and try to hit it the other way.
And that's one thing Francis has been doing. He'll throw enough inside to keep you honest, but he's controlling the strike zone out of way. He's got that very good changeup, but his fastball and command of the fastball is better this year.
This one is pulled to third. Out there onto first, double play. Grown men acting like children as we head to break. On a foul ball. Fighting over it. Most activity they've had all day.
Andrew just installed a webcam so I can watch Dottie all day long. Come check it out. All right. It's really cool.
Oh, she's so precious. Oh. Oh, that's not Dottie.
Oh, the hair. Oh.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines nonstop from St. Louis to Dallas Love Field for just $49 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
With its 3.7-liter fuel-efficient V6 engine and standard electronic stability program, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo delivers its best on-road performance ever. But underneath it all, it's still a Jeep 4x4.
I thought all those reports had to be done by noon.
That they do.
It's 11:50, Jerry.
That Rico MFP prints at 55 pages per minute. Job ready by 11:59.
11:59.
I like to push the envelope.
Uh-huh.
Move your ideas forward with Rico Dependability.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
Well, if you travel around the country, want to watch the Cardinals, you can do so on your PC. It's MLB.tv, where you can watch the Cardinals online, and it's available at STLCardinals.com. Melody out. Works with Brian Bartow and Jim Anderson, Cardinals PR. Working on her PC.
Melody and Jim almost kicked Brian off the all future charters after the first two stops on that road trip.
A couple losses.
Cardinals he was 0 for 4. The boss was 0 for 4.
Yeah.
but he redeemed himself in Florida.
Grounder into second. Francis retired, now top of the order. Here's Corey Sullivan. Strike one to Corey Sullivan. Tom Mee, our director tonight. Tim Pabst, our pregame show producer. Mike Helling, our game producer. Brian McCann, Doug Stanton, and our Bud Productions crew. And a sold-out crowd here at Busch Stadium. 2-2 the count.
Three-game sweep in Florida for the Cardinals. I think the fans thought they were going to see a little more coming back.
Work here by Thompson. That's 5 up, 5 down. This is our Hardy's hot pitch of the game from Brad Thompson.
Brad doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, but he gets one here. Keep the ball down there. You get a few guys swing and miss, but more importantly, he'll get those ground balls that he's so good at acquiring.
We saw Carroll sacrifice his last time up. The Rockies up by 5 runs. And a season ago, he was the third best to sacrifice in the major leagues. Coco Crisp was second best, and then Omar Vizquel the best. One ball, one strike on Jamie Carroll. Back to Thompson. Bottom of the 8th coming up. And the bottom of the order. Cardinals trail 6-0. Six 10-0 for Colorado, 0-4-1 for the Cardinals. And here's a look at our game recap brought to you by Jack in the Box. A long night for Jason Marquis. Couple of home runs that he allows to Matt Holliday on the night. Marquis 6 innings, 6 runs on 10 hits. This is the one that went 436 feet. And Taguchi's reaction tells it all. It's been that kind of night for the Cardinals, and so leads it off against Jeff Francis, who's been so tough against St. Louis. 4 hits allowed as he pitches into the 8th. Aaron Miles, the former Rocky, is on deck. He'll be the pinch hitter for Brad Thompson. Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in the bullpen.
Activity for the first time for the Rockies in their bullpen, as Francis has no complete games in his career. This is his 50 or 48th start in the big leagues. Jose Mesa, who they are just thrilled to death the way, one, his leadership down there in the bullpen, and just the way he has pitched. They just can't say enough about how well he's adapted to this team.
Mesa suspended earlier for hitting his former teammate Omar Vizquel of the San Francisco Giants. Of course, those two knew each other from their days in Cleveland. Mesa was the closer on those championship teams with the Indians.
Yeah, but didn't Vizquel say a few unkind things about his former teammate in a book?
And he did so talking about the World Series loss to the Marlins.
Third walk tonight by Francis.
So runner at first, and here's the former Rocky Miles. First rookie in Rockies history to homer from both sides of the plate in the game. Hits it out to center, and it's going to drop for a hit. Taguchi had to wait. He was halfway. And the first two are on, and here comes Eckstein. Of course, lurking in that Cardinal lineup is Albert Pujols.
Miles, the switch hitter, plunks one in front of Corey Sullivan. We talked about how deep he plays, and it hurt Francis on that one and helped Aaron Miles.
Well, you knew after he walked the leadoff man that Miles was going to get a strike, and he did, and he ripped it into center.
You'd be surprised over the course of a year how few times first pitch strikes are even put in play, and even rarer how many of them go for, how few go for base hits.
Eckstein, Cardinal leadoff man, is 1 for 3 with a base hit to left. Sweeping breaking ball in there for a strike. Texas over Minnesota. That's now final 6-4. Toronto over the Angels 5-1. Another curveball misses outside.
David, a base hit his last time up. He also hit that nice fly ball where we saw the sliding catch in right field.
Blowing away. Luna on deck. Count of 2 balls and 1 strike.
Is Clint on the top step, or is he getting there?
He's getting there. Over 100 pitches thrown for Francis tonight. Running out of gas here, possibly. 2-1 pitch. Could be a double play ball. 6-4-3 double play. Second double play turn by Colorado tonight.
Even when you're running out of gas, sometimes you can come up with a good pitch.
And it's up to Luna here in the bottom half of the 8th. Cardinals down 6 runs. Luna tonight has walked, and twice he has flied out to left. Rockies got 2 runs in the first off of Marquis, another in the 3rd, 2 more in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, and they lead it 6-0. The Cardinals have just 5 hits. Make it 6, and the Cardinals get on the board thanks to Hector Luna. RBI for Hector, his 8th, and it brings in Albert. That might be it for Francis.
It is. Well, Hector Luna, it's a breaking ball. It stays up. Maybe even the changeup, but it just sat right up there for him, and he goes the opposite way, plugs the gap out in right center, drives in the first Cardinal run. And nice job by Jeff Francis. And remember, the bullpen has been very good for Clint Hurdle.
109 pitches thrown by Jeff Francis, so Pujols will see a new pitcher coming in. Great effort by the young left-hander of Colorado. It's 6-1 Rockies.
Coming up after the game on the Midwest Sports Report, all your reaction from the Cardinal clubhouse. Tony La Russa live, plus John Rawlings of the Sporting News, and your phone calls at 1-888-RING-FOX. See you after the game.
It's Jim Hayes from the Helitech Sports Desk here at Busch Stadium. Jose Mesa, our call to the bullpen, is brought to you by Chevrolet. This will be his 18th appearance. He does have 1 save and a .55 ERA.
Right-handed batters batting .161 against him. It's tied for the major league lead with 8 holds on the year.
He's still throwing pretty hard. He can get it up there mid-90s.
And like Roberto Hernandez, they're like over 900 appearances in their career. And he was pushing 40 also.
Mason Pujols in a low strike. He's 6 for 10 with a home run and a strikeout against Jose Mesa.
But he's only allowed 1 run in his 17 appearances this season. If you go back to spring training, 2 times in 29 outings.
Here's the 0-1. Pujols tied up, did not go around. 1 ball, 1 strike. So no complete games in the career of Jeff Francis. That continues tonight. His longest outing this season, 7 innings. Now it's 7 2/3 with what he's done against the Cardinals. They guard the lines, and outfield is very deep.
Ray King throwing in the bullpen for Edmonds if this inning stays that.
Pujols hits it out to center field, sinking but caught. So Mesa gets Pujols. 9th inning coming up from Busch. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer today. Chevy and American Revolution. And by Advance Auto, we're ready in advance. Well, if you have not had the chance to come down to Busch Stadium, the new Busch gives you a little idea of the wide concourses here at the ballpark. Complete contrast to what we had at the old Busch Stadium.
And I mean, I've still had people tell me to get out in center field and look at all the amenities out there, which I have not done yet. Looper will come into this ball game, his 13th appearance. He was roughed up a little bit on Saturday, and he was greeted with a home run. Aaron Miles stays in game, plays second base. But a couple of the runs scored when the Knicks reliever came in.
So what are fans telling you?
No, they just said that there's a big video board. There's areas out back there where you can get some food to eat. You can watch the game back behind the Coca-Cola Pavilion, and just a lot more out there to do too.
I've heard from the people out there that have had a chance to go to the Coke Pavilion, it's more of like a party atmosphere, a social setting, than watching a baseball game. That's fine too. Go out there and have some fun. Todd Helton is 0 for 4. 3 times he has flied to left. He's also flied to center.
So you mean like in a game like tonight, you could kind of go out there and still have a very good time.
That's correct, Al. 2 balls and a strike. That one at 94 miles an hour from Braden Looper.
He's got his velocity back. It always was fairly straight, but feeling good, and I'm sure he wants to atone for that last outing. 95.
It's got to be tough for him and for Isringhausen and some of the other guys to stay sharp. Cardinal starters normally go pretty deep into games. Tonight it was Marquis going 6. 2 scoreless innings by Thompson. Helton the opposite way, pretty well hit. Taguchi on the move near the line, and it's out of play.
Bartman caught him.
He is pumped too. A little different reaction than Bartman. Bartman had to have security and a police escort. That guy's just high-fiving buddies.
Poor guy, Bartman, I'm talking of. Did what everyone else would do, and I think he almost got pushed into it by the 10 fans in front of him.
Popped up. Helton 0 for 5 tonight. How many times will he go 0 for 5 and the Rockies have a chance to win a game? 6-1 Colorado. They've got 10 hits, none by that man. And it brings in Atkins. So Jeff Francis in line for the victory tonight. And he has matched the longest outing of his career, which was set against Arizona last year. He went 7 2/3 in that game and an 8-1 win over the Diamondbacks.
Keep an eye on that young man. A good arm, good feel for pitching.
How about his demeanor out on the mound too?
There's different types of demeanor, but he's just kind of just goes about his business and do it in a demonstrative way.
Hard hit up the middle. Atkins with a base hit. On base for the 3rd time. He's also scored 2 runs. Now it brings in Holiday. I believe the last Rocky to have a 3 home run night against the Cardinals in St. Louis was Larry Walker. Remember, you and I were doing that game. It was a rainy night at the old Busch.
All right, and they haven't retired Holiday tonight.
Homered twice, 3 runs scored. He has singled and
hit by a pitch.
Hit by a pitch, first time up. There it is, last 3 home run game for the Colorado Rockies against the Indians back in '04, right before he arrived in St. Louis. Of course, Larry Walker for so many years, Al, the face of the franchise.
Mike Helling, our producer, who was with the Cardinals, went to the Rockies in that capacity and back to St. Louis. Asked a very good question. Do you think Larry Walker's number will be retired in Colorado?
I'd say yes.
I would say yes, but I don't know. Do they have anyone that is retired now?
Shattered bat, hit to Rolen. Great play to get the lead man. Of course, you got Jackie Robinson, that's retired by MLB.
Yeah, but I mean, a Rocky player.
Well, I
won't be any pitcher.
No.
Here's what you're talking about. Look at that bat going, concentration, the ball over the line, and then you get the lead runner, as you said. Off balance throw.
Of course, Galarraga had great years there, Benny Castillo, but not long enough.
No.
You wouldn't think.
You wouldn't think.
But Walker was there 10 years.
Larry would be the first choice. But, it's kind of like it's you've got to be very careful because you set the standard of what do you do it? I mean, here, for the most part, everyone is a retired number in St. Louis as a Hall of Famer, but not all. And no retired numbers in Colorado now, and you got to be careful how you set the standard. Other than Jackie Robinson, who Major League Baseball retired.
Of course, first game in Rockies history, Mile High, 70,000 people. Over to get it, So Taguchi. First pitch by Brent Smith. And away it went. The Rockies have been to 1 postseason. They lead it by 5 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. 6-1 Colorado here in the bottom of the 9th. It's been a long night of baseball for the Cardinals. Scott Rowland will lead it off, followed by Encarnacion and then Edmonds. Cardinals with just 6 hits tonight. 6-11-0 for the Rockies, 1-6-1 for St. Louis. Rockies have left 9 on, the Cardinals 5. And Scott Rowland has fly to center, fly to right, and struck out. Jose Mesa appeared in the major leagues all the way back in 1987, and he was with the Baltimore Orioles at that time.
When did he go to Cleveland?
Let's see, traded by the Blue Jays to Baltimore, and that was part of the Mike Flanagan deal, and then traded by the Orioles to Cleveland for outfielder Kyle Washington in 1992. Traded by the Indians along with Sean Dunston and Alvin Mormon to San Francisco for Steve Reed and Jacob Cruz. He was signed as a free agent by Seattle, signed by the Phillies, and he was with Pittsburgh for a couple of years. At one point he was the American League Fireman of the Year back in 1995. .320 saves in the career of Jose Mesa. Three balls, 1 strike on Scott Rowland. We're in the 9th, 6-1 Rockies, and that's ball 4.
And there's hope.
Well, Mesa had 55 outings a year ago with Pittsburgh, Al, and a third of his runs that he allowed, over a third, came when he was pitching in his 2nd inning. And they do have activity. Ray King is getting loose in the Rockies bullpen, presumably for Edmonds, who's on deck.
And that not terribly surprising for a guy 40 years of age. There you see Ray King.
Time is called. Encarnacion tonight popped out to second, grounded out to first, and grounded to short. Matchup that favors man at the plate. 8 for 13 against Jose Mesa.
Kind of like those numbers, don't you?
Sure do.
You never know.
There's a base hit out to left. First two have reached here in the bottom of the ninth. That may be it for Mesa, with Edmonds getting ready to dig in. Ray King has been getting loose in the Rockies bullpen.
Reason they're leading the West is their bullpen.
So that's it for Mesa. Former Cardinal Ray King coming in. Well, a mixed response when Ray King was introduced to the crowd here at Busch Stadium. 14th appearance. Opponents are hitting .359 against him, and Jimmy was having a conversation with Yadier Molina, I'm sure, talking about Ray King. He's 1 for 8 against the former Cardinal. Molina on deck. It's 6-1 Rockies. Ray King had some unkind words about Tony La Russa as he was a little upset after the National League Championship Series. Didn't take long. He was on his way to Colorado. 0-2. King was unhappy with how he was used down the stretch and certainly in postseason play, but you go back to his time in St. Louis at the very end, he was not putting up very good numbers.
He was struggling a little bit. There's a breaking ball, and left-handed batters 294. Right-handers are over 400 against Ray. He's walked more than he struck out. Good guy, and remember, he death of his father towards the end, but I wish he would have not said some of the things he said.
The ball gets away, and it's 1-2 now in Edmonds. Wild pitch charge to King, trying to finish this off.
Brian Fuentes, their closer, is warming up in the bullpen.
And now this Rockies bullpen has just been terrible coming into this season. The last 3 years combined, they've converted only 107 of 187 save opportunities. That's it. That's 57%.
Well, that's why that was their #1 aim, was to upgrade the bullpen, and we showed earlier in National League standings they are second to the St. Louis Cardinals in bullpen ERA.
And their bullpen average, as far as what opponents were hitting against him coming into the season over the last 3 years, 276. Only the Royals were worse in that department. The 2-2. Edmonds out to right field. Runners will tag up. Roland will score. It cuts the lead to 6-2. Encarnacion on his way to third. RBI for Jimmy, number 22.
Second on the team with his 22 RBIs.
And it brings in Yadier Molina. Molina's hit into a double play. Fly to right, fly to left.
Still not a save situation for their closer Fuentes. Another lefty warming up, and a pretty good one. As we said, right-handed batters are batting .409 against Ray in the early part of this season.
Fuentes getting loose. He was an all-star a year ago for the Rockies. 1-0 pitch. Molina hits it foul and out of play.
Tatis was in spring training with Florida. And everybody up there trying to check out Ray. Now, there were times when it just, you know, that it was hard to distinguish between his sinker and his slider. They just seemed on the same plane.
Pitch way outside to Molina. It's 3-1. Ball in the dirt. 2 walks in the inning. And so Taguchi will be the hitter. Cardinals down by 4 runs here in the ninth. Runners at first and third. And Clint Hurdle back to the mound.
Save situation now, so you bring in your closer.
Fuentes will come in. That's it for Ray King. 6-2 Colorado.
Welcome back. As you see, Brian Fuentes, their all-star of a year ago and closer, set a franchise record as he converted 21 save chances from July 25th last year to April 27th this year. Cardinals trying to hang in here. There's 1 out in the 9th inning. They got 2 men on, but they're trailing 6-2. You saw Fuentes. Left-handed batters are 1 for 12, an 0.83 average. Right-handers not much better, 5 for 29, 172. Fuentes picked up his 7th save yesterday versus Houston, despite giving up 1 run on 2 hits. It was his first run allowed this season at Coors Field. He's converted 24 of his last 25 save chances dating back to last season. And on the road, he's 1-0 with 5 saves and 8 appearances.
First pitch to Sho Taguchi. Foul tip. Fuentes is a guy that has earned his spot in the major leagues. He was cut from his varsity baseball team as a junior in high school. Came back, pitched as a senior. So after he was cut, Al, he was the mascot at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Change up here. He's got a wide assortment. He's deceptive in his delivery.
How do you like that?
Fastball away.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. From the baseball team to Chuck E. Cheese.
You got to be known for something, don't you?
Now he's known as being an all-star.
Right. And Clint Hurdle has great faith in him. They believe they have a legitimate, closer. Not a lot of left-handers that, especially that throw a lot of change-ups and stuff. There's be another one.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Taguchi stays alive. He was way out in front, but made the adjustment just to get a piece and stay alive.
Almost like a hanging pitch, but location away from him.
They're in the second. Houston and San Francisco tied at 1. Barry Bonds not playing. San Diego leading the Cubs 2-0. That's in the third.
Fastball in.
1-2 pitch. Taguchi, line drive, and caught by the second baseman. Hard hit, but right at him. There's 2 outs. And the batter is Miles.
And 1 for 1. entering as a pinch hitter back in the 8th inning.
Gonna base it up the middle. Face his former teammate here. Down 6-2.
Aaron should have a little more of an idea. And get the change up.
Takes a ball outside. He walked twice yesterday at Florida. That's the 3rd time now he's had a multi-walk game, and I know that's something that he has worked on in spring training and obviously at the start of this season.
Fastball away.
1-0 pitch. 2-0 with David Eckstein on deck.
You just talked about it. You know, when in spring training, I sat with a couple scouts and I was asking about Miles, and he originally signed with Houston, and a Houston scout said, well, he's a good little hitter, does this, but he'll never walk. Doesn't strike out much, but he won't walk. Fastball away here on a 2-0 pitch. And he just understands now that, you know, if you're not going to hit home runs and you're a little guy, you better have a better on base percentage. Take a few walks. Fastball away again.
2-1 pitch. Cardinals down to their final strike.
Well, we talked about how a lot of lefties throw across the body, but you know, he really slings it, almost lays that ball back, and you really don't see it, so he's deceptive. Fastball away.
And the 2-2 pitch. Up and in.
Kind of get lulled into a little sense of security on those changeups, and then that fastball jumps up on you real quick. Fastball away again, trying to throw a strike.
The 3-2. And Miles grounds to the short, across the diamond. Game over. Rockies take game 1 of this 3-game set. The final 6-2. The save for Fuentes. And the win goes to Jeff Francis, who goes 7 2/3 tonight. He was terrific. 6 hits allowed and just 1 run. 6-2. Colorado over the Cardinals. Tonight's play of the game is brought to you by Budweiser. Yadier Molina. 5th time he has done that this season, and it's our Budweiser play of the game. Midwest Sports Report is coming up for Al Raboski and our Bud Productions crew. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Again, our final 6-2 will come your way tomorrow with the pregame.